When is the North Pole not at the North Pole? When you're talking about the magnetic North Pole. Now imagine this. You're a pilot and you're flying your airplane, you're taking a flight up to Alaska. Now, you've taken this flight before, you've checked everything. Everything's all set. You're pulling up, you should be there in about 5 minutes. You look down and you realize, well, the runway just isn't where it's supposed to be. What's going on? Now you might think that this situation is just something out of a storybook, but it's all too real and something that we actually have to deal with all the time now. According to the information that we have about the North Magnetic Pole, we're going to find out what kind of things pilots and everyone else are having to deal with these changes. Now, the North Magnetic Pole is always moving. And I'm going to share with you the information today about the differences between the physical North Pole and the magnetic North Pole. Also, the effects of the magnetic North Pole moving and the causes of the movement, or as far as we know. So let's jump right in and find out what the differences are between the physical and the magnetic North Pole. First of all, the physical North Pole sits on the Earth's axis, and that's where the Earth spins. That's where all the lines of longitude meet up on the top of the globe. Now this is stationary. It's in the Arctic, so it never moves. Now, the magnetic North Pole is one that we found that affects our compasses and other things we'll talk about. And this one actually does move. It was first found to be moving from 1831 to 1990 from Canada to north, and it was heading northeast at the time. Now, in 1990, Michael Brooks of the New Scientist in 2019 says it was moving at an average of 9 miles per year. And he also says that it was moving in 2005 up to 37 miles on average per year. In 2017, Shannon Hall says that it was moving into the eastern hemisphere and barreling its way towards Siberia. Now we know the differences between the magnetic and the physical North Poles, so let's talk about what's causing these changes. Now, Phil Livermore in 2020 says that these swirling hot masses of lava are moving around, or magma rather, are moving around inside the Earth. Now, those are on the inner core of the Earth. On the outer core of the Earth, there's cooler iron deposits that cause a dynamo effect to occur. Now, this dynamo effect creates electric currents with the electrons that it has inside it, and those create our magnetic field. Now, the motion of these particular magma lobes and the outer core of the Earth are what cause the pole to move. Because as those are jostling around, the Earth is also moving on its own, in its own orbit, and those things together are what causes that movement. Now, John Tarduno, in 2019, says that the poles have actually changed their polarity over 183 times based on crystal studies in the last however long the Earth's been around, millions of years. Now, we know the causes of this particular movement, so let's talk about the effects. What's going on with us? The first thing is that the magnetic field of the Earth that protects us from outer space, harmful radiation that would harm our electronic grid, all of our electronic devices, is one thing. Now, the magnetic field also protects us from random space weather, because it's crazy out there. According to Phil Livermore in 2020, this has significant consequences toward all of our navigational equipment. The World Magnetic Model is one that has been put in place by scientists for our military and our defense systems, and is used in multiple other different ways so that we can navigate around the world. It's what keeps us grounded, so to speak. So we're all facing the same direction north. So the World Magnetic Model, according to Shannon Hall in 2019, she's a NASA scientist, says that it had to be updated a year early, in 2020 instead of 2021. The reason for this was because the North Magnetic Pole was moving a lot faster than what they expected. And the faster that it moved, the more inaccurate those particular models were. So airline pilots, the ships that ship things across the ocean, submarines, all of the military that uses these models were working with outdated information, which can be not only unsafe, but dangerous. So with this, the North Pole is always moving. The North Magnetic Pole, that is. So we've covered today the information about the differences between the North Pole magnetic and physical, as well as the causes of the magnetic pole moving and the effects that that's having us on every day. Now, just because the North Magnetic Pole is moving, and it's always done this, we're just barely starting to get more information about it now. Know that the scientists are on the job and watching its every move. So the next time you go to navigate, whether it be on your smartphone, an airplane, or a ship, you're going to be able to get where you need to go.